The world's two biggest giants, America and China, now stand face to face, locked in a confrontation that is spiraling out of control. Is Boeing, America's largest aerospace company, on the brink of collapse? And is Trump's tariff war backfiring, dragging the U.S. economy down with it? The ongoing economic battle between the U.S. and China, simmering for years, has now reached a dangerous tipping point. When Trump imposed steep tariffs on Chinese goods, he believed China would yield. But instead of backing down, China has launched a counterattack, this time targeting one of America's most critical industries. Beijing has issued a clear directive to its airlines: stop purchasing new Boeing aircraft and avoid ordering American-made parts. In essence, U.S. planes will no longer fly into Chinese airspace, and payments for existing deals will be halted. This isn't just a boycott. It's a direct assault on one of the pillars of the U.S. economy. To put things into perspective, in 2018, China was Boeing's largest customer. 1 in every 4 planes sold by Boeing went to China. If China follows through with canceling orders for 9,000 aircraft, the fallout could be catastrophic. Many of these planes are already built, some sitting in Seattle, others in Boeing's Chinese facility. But if the deals are scrapped, Boeing won't just miss out on revenue, it will suffer enormous financial losses. Boeing isn't just an aircraft manufacturer, it's a cornerstone of America's manufacturing sector. Thousands of suppliers, engineers, technicians, and workers rely on its business. China's boycott has sent shockwaves through this entire ecosystem, disrupting supply chains and threatening the livelihoods of countless Americans. Boeing's 787 Dreamliner is considered one of the most advanced aircraft in the world, but ironically, that's also its greatest vulnerability. Around 60% of its components are sourced from outside the United States, including parts from Japan, Italy, and the UK. However, with the Trump administration's tariffs in place, these imported parts now face an additional 10% to 15% tax, significantly driving up production costs. As a result, each Dreamliner now costs Boeing roughly $9 million more to manufacture. This surge in production costs, combined with declining global demand and the loss of a major customer like China, is putting immense pressure on America's manufacturing sector. But China's move isn't just a blow to Boeing, it's a calculated geopolitical strategy. By sidelining Boeing, China has also drawn Europe into the equation. Its attention is now shifting toward Airbus, the European aerospace giant based in France. Airbus is quickly becoming China's preferred partner, signaling a potential transfer of massive contracts from Boeing to Airbus. This shift does more than just hurt an American company. It realigns global partnerships. While China freezes out Boeing, it is simultaneously embracing Airbus and nurturing its own domestic aircraft manufacturer, COMAC. This dual strategy gives China short-term gains through Airbus and long-term independence through COMAC. But perhaps the most strategic play is China's push to weaken the U.S. dollar's dominance in global trade. Future transactions between China and Europe are expected to be conducted in yuan or euros, not dollars. This move could diminish the dollar's global influence, striking at the heart of America's economic strength. If the U.S. retaliates by imposing a 20% tariff on European goods, it risks damaging Europe's already fragile industries. Meanwhile, Europe may find a vast new market in China for its exports. In this complex game of trade and power, Boeing may be the first casualty, but the broader threat is to the very foundation of U.S. economic influence. China has now cemented a strong partnership with Airbus, a move that goes far beyond a simple business deal. By throwing its weight behind the European aerospace giant, China is not only securing an alternative to Boeing, but is also strategically pulling Europe closer while driving a wedge between Europe and the United States. This calculated move aims to tilt the balance of global power and challenge America's long-standing dominance. In return for supporting Airbus, China is offering Europe a new economic pathway, one that questions America's central role on the global stage. This isn't merely about aircraft or trade profits, it's a maneuver in a much larger geopolitical game. Meanwhile, Boeing, once the pride of American industry, a symbol of innovation and engineering excellence, is now facing one of the toughest periods in its history. Once hailed as the world's premier aircraft manufacturer, Boeing is now grappling with plunging stock prices, production delays, and dwindling confidence. Airlines around the world are postponing aircraft deliveries, disrupting flight schedules and fleet planning. The ripple effects are being felt throughout the industry, and investors are growing increasingly anxious as they watch the value of their capital erode. The company's decline paints a stark contrast to its former glory, when Boeing was seen as a testament to America's unmatched industrial power. Even more troubling is the breakdown of the very supply chain that once empowered the U.S. to deliver goods and services worldwide. The supply chain that was the backbone of America's economic dominance is now showing signs of fragility, this time from within. What we're witnessing isn't just the decline of one company, it's a warning sign of a shifting global order, where economic alliances are redrawn and the symbols of American strength are being systematically challenged. Today, a wall of unemployment is rising across the cities of the American Midwest. Once bustling with factories and opportunity, these towns are now eerily silent. Plants are shutting down, wages are shrinking, and the hopes that once flourished are beginning to fade. Behind this decline is a silent but strategic economic offensive, carefully orchestrated by China. The first strike was on soybean exports, dealing a major blow to American farmers. Once a pillar of U.S. agriculture and a major export, soybeans have now become a loss-making crop due to Chinese policies. Then came the hit to natural gas. Liquefied natural gas, LNG, a key American export, was suddenly pushed out of China's market, plunging the U.S. energy sector into turmoil. This single move has rattled the stability of global energy markets and left American producers in a state of crisis. Now China has turned its attention to America's core industries, manufacturing and aerospace. These sectors are the backbone of the U.S. economy, supporting millions of jobs and sustaining entire communities. But through a series of calculated steps, China is attempting to weaken these pillars, creating cracks in the very foundation of America's industrial might. What we are witnessing is not just a trade war, it's something far deeper. This is economic strangulation. China is tightening its grip around America's most vital economic arteries, one by one, without firing a single shot. The most alarming part? It's happening largely outside the domain of the US dollar. This raises the most critical question of all. Has America fallen into its own trap, set by the very tariff war it initiated? The United States, once the unchallenged ruler of the global economy, wielding the dollar like a sword, now finds its dominance slipping. International trade is increasingly being conducted in yuan and euros, circumventing the dollar entirely. This isn't just about Boeing. This is about something far greater. It is the slow erosion of America's global power. The dollar, once the backbone of American supremacy, is beginning to lose its grip. And if the dollar falls, it won't just be the end of a currency. It could mark the beginning of the end of America's superpower status. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay connected with all our upcoming updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.